It's that frog in the hot water right now. It's warm. It's like nice. It's like we get to offer cash offers everywhere now.
It's hot tub.
Yeah.
What is up, everybody?
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. It is 2023, right? At least by the time that this one rolls out. So is this like New Year, New You?
Well, you can't say that. You gotta say it. You gotta act like it is.
New Year, New You. Let's go, guys. Come on. Hey, so we are super excited today for the content that we have with you, right? So as we are going to take a quick look back through 2022, was this the year that iBuyers got punched in the mouth?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And they're still stumbling.
Yeah.
Did anybody get knocked out?
A couple of them got knocked out.
I was gonna say, are they TKO'd?
A couple of them was.
Yep.
Yep. If they were cartoon animals, they'd have little birds flying around their heads right now. Yeah. Very dizzy, stumbling, getting back up. Let's talk a little bit about the past year and what's happened in the iBuying, power buying space, because it has been a ride.
Regardless of all things iBuyer, what a wild year.
Yeah, for sure.
What a wild year.
Yeah, I've never seen the interest rates go that from this low to that high in 1 year.
Well, there was just a like literally a physical cliff of demand that happened. I mean, it was one Friday, waiting, a line to get in the house. Next Friday, crickets.
It definitely seemed that way.
Right? It almost seemed like it was that fast.
Yeah, and if you sold real estate last year, you know exactly what we're talking about. There was kind of a dramatic turnaround, and so we're finding our footing, and iBuyers are as well. Let's talk about kind of the stories that defined iBuying and power buying in 2022, and what we think 2023 is going to bring for power buying and iBuying.
Wait, did Zillow go out of the game in 2022?
Yeah, that was 2021.
Yeah, the very end. It was the very end.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking like, okay, so that
was so fresh that it was almost like. But again, they were buying houses by the thousands and thousands, and all of a sudden, again, it was like one Friday, buy anything and everything you can, overpay. Next Friday, we ain't doing it.
Right. I talked to Spencer Raskop, the former CEO of Zillow, a few weeks ago, and he mentioned that Zillow they just went crazy and then completely just flipped the script, which he actually is still very bullish on iBuying.
Oh, yeah.
And I know as well as us, and we are, but yeah, so Zillow was out in 2021, but they had a ton of inventory still that they offloaded in 2022 to the institutional buyers. So we know that really fueled the institutional buyer, acquisitions.
It was almost 5,000 houses that they sold off, right?
It was a ton.
I mean, it was a nutso amount. I'm talking like Zillow. You remember like how they had all that, that bit, sold them for like an amazing deal.
They got out just in time.
Well, yeah, I think it actually could have been worse.
Got out perfectly. Yeah, it could have been worse.
It could have been
a lot worse. They would continue doing it this year.
Yep.
And think about how many of the buy and holds are just thousands and thousands certain markets.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny because we went to Tucson yesterday and we drove past Marana, and we know that there have been a ton of homes acquired in there by iBuyers or institutional buyers, and Jason was going, do you think they're regretting these? And I was like, no, they're not going to sell them right away. They're all rented out.
Exactly. Yep, they're rented.
Who's the guy? We all know him. He was like one of the Ray Dalio. When he talks about the trends, I actually probably plug into because first of all, he's like obnoxiously brilliant. His whole theory around like the cycles of whether it's like the, timing at the 7-year, the 10-year kind of like cycle, when you look at those types of things and how they buy off the long trends and those types of things, and why they don't fret quite as much if they're that long-term play versus the short-term play. I don't remember what it was. I heard him give a talk on it a couple months back, so I'm not a little foggy on it, but I'm with you on that. That's why I don't think that they're going to fret overly, right? Because it's all about the monthly income for those particular properties, and as long as they can get them to,
they want deep discounts now though, right, Keith?
Yeah, talk about
that.
I'm
like, that to me, the purchase price doesn't really align with what they're probably likely to get for the house.
Yeah, they're looking at 2019 prices that they want.
Oh yeah.
Do you think they're trying to make up for the ones that they bought over?
Maybe.
And balance out their portfolios?
Write their books.
Or they just don't have as much capital, and they're just saying, hey, we'll buy it if it's really deep, but if not, then we're just sitting on the sidelines.
Well, and before we jump into some of our other bullet points of it, hearing you guys say that, it makes me think this. Did their play win, right? Were they overpaid for the market, so they bought the mind share that they're looking for? Because now certainty and convenience, that toothpaste is out of the bottle and it is not going back in, right? That's that cash offer demand that we all know exists. And so now that they, quote unquote, overpaid, everybody knows these companies, right? It's breakout, individual search and, search traffic, right? Open Door, these types of cash offer companies. So now that they have done that and they're buying houses pretty deep right now, like Keith has, theorized that into Q1 2023, their reporting, I think, is going to be pretty good.
Well, here's the thing. Are they really buying houses deep, or are they giving offers that aren't getting accepted? I think the pendulum's swinging that way, where they're buying significantly less, but they're just, they can right now. They don't have to. But what I'm getting, I don't think they're buying that many houses. And we just had someone else announce that they've dipped out so they can really reflect over 2022 in their current portfolio for their investors and figure out how they're going to, what 2023 is going to look like, and probably not at least until the end of the first quarter. Dang, they're all taking turns doing this.
Yeah.
It's interesting if they're coming back end of first quarter, beginning of second quarter. That's typically when our peak sales season is. I'd say probably could say that overall.
You see the market load first quarter, pop off second quarter.
So it could be a crazy second quarter.
Yeah.
Pent up demand. And so it's going to be a really interesting year. I am excited for it. But let's talk a little bit about some of
these headlines. Yeah.
Yes. What was a headline that surprised you in 2022?
Well, I know what my number one personally was, but before we go there, I actually was surprised around the Ribbon credit facility being frozen. I know we don't hear that as much over here on the western half of the state, but I mean, on the East Coast, which I know we have a ton of agent partners, listeners, et cetera, over there, that side of the country, Ribbon made it, they were doing some damage. So, and not only that, the way that they were acquiring and their overall model, I thought was really secure. So it surprises me that credit facility would freeze and they would basically lay off almost 90% of their staff and basically almost shut down their business model.
They've definitely had to pull back, and which is why I'm thankful that we have so much private capital at Zoodealio, because had we been positioned like the Ribbons or the Orchards or the Open Doors, the offer pads, we would be in deep trouble right now.
Well, they're going to be laying off people.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they had to do. I mean, they had to just cut. And I think we're going to see more of that, especially with Open Door. I think Open Door and OfferPad are going to cut a lot more employees.
Well, I don't know what these guys' payrolls are, but think about it. First and the 15th payroll, if you're running $1 million, $2 million a month, one of the quickest ways back to balance is slash that staff.
So yes, the Ribbon news was interesting. Let's talk about some of the lighter power buying noise that we've heard. So we know that power buying, I think it's an incredible product, and I still think it's very valuable for buyers.
Super secure too.
Yeah, exactly. So what we've seen though is many of these large mortgage companies that kind of released product to compete with the true power buyers have pulled back.
Yep.
And they've stopped their programs.
There's a lot of big names right out there. I mean, especially like Fairway is going to be the biggest one, I think, in there that they've kind of pulled back on that. And I know that their primary business source was just traditional lending. However, they were losing so much market share to the power buying, right, where they buy the house in cash in your behalf and then replace it with a mortgage. They lost so much opportunity there that I think Fairway is the number one mortgage broker banker in America.
Is it? They all say that.
It's
like the realtors that say they're number one. Like everybody says that.
So does just like cell phone companies.
Yeah, I'm not unverified. Unverified. They are huge. Right.
So
that I know.
So the power buyer. I mean, the power buyer option is great, right? It was great. When there was a bunch of offers going on, and a lot of competition. But now there's no competition. I think it's even a better.
That's what I'm gonna say. I'm a challenge.
If you're able to go to something that's been on the market for 180 days, and these people are just like, man, I haven't had a showing forever, and they get a cash offer that can close in a week.
Yep.
they might be like, hey, let's just do it. Like, let's rip the Band-Aid off hard, and you can get a pretty good deal. Be able to close within a week.
I agree. I think it's still an amazing, it's an
better
amazing
opportunity
product
now.
for sure. If you can find someone that can do it.
Yeah.
The
So
key.
who is doing it?
Well, we know locally we have in the Phoenix market and several other markets. We have Wallach and Volk doing their cash to win program.
They're about 20 markets.
Yeah, they're about
So-
20 markets, right? Very
If you have
competitive.
a client, reach out to us. We could connect you with that.
Absolutely. I think Accept is still doing it
Yep.
in Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
Arizona, and a few others. So you definitely still have access to that product if you're curious as to what and where. Reach out and we'll let you know. All right, so that was definitely interesting to see them kind of pump the brakes. Let's talk about Redfin.
Nah. They got out this year, right?
Yep.
It was this year. When was that?
Last year, 2022.
It was only like
yeah.
3 months ago.
Last year.
If that.
Yeah.
I think
It wasn't that long ago.
it was not very long ago.
But they quickly had Open Door on their site.
Dude,
like,
that
within a week.
I had
Right.
no idea that was going down.
There's no question that obviously strategically was in the works for a while.
Right, I agree.
So, I mean, because to Jay's point, you don't shut that down 1 week and then the next week Open Door is on your site.
Wait, let's peel it back. Let's kind of share what happened. So Redfin got out of iBuying. They quit making cash offers to sellers. Instead, you can now get a cash offer and you can see your preliminary Open Door offer on Redfin's site. So instead of them fulfilling the iBuyer cash offer, they're turning to Open Door to fulfill that cash offer.
I got to be upfront on that one. I actually think that for Redfin, game-wise, like, partially being in the lead space as well, that's a tremendous opportunity for them, right? I mean, everybody's in the lead space.
To have
so
Open Door
that's-
on there?
Yes, because now they opened it up way more. Their instant cash offers are in all the markets now.
Gotcha.
Where before
okay.
they were only buying in California. So their Redfin Now product existed only in California. So, I mean, granted, that's 40 million people, massive
So do you
market.
think their agents are calling these leads? Obviously, right?
Redfin,
I would sure as heck
Redfin
think so.
agents?
Yeah.
They should. I mean,
I would sure as heck think so.
Yeah.
there's a flaw in the business model if they're not.
Yeah.
What my concern is, and I don't know, maybe it's in their partnership and maybe they've worked this out, but as we know, Open Door's big push is now to their exclusives marketplace. My concern would be that if I'm Redfin, they're going on, they're getting that Open Door cash offer. If they take that Open Door cash offer and then they end up on the
On
Open Door
exclusives.
exclusives marketplace, it's actually taking inventory kind of
Away
away
from
from
Redfin.
Redfin. And so for me, that would be the biggest, I guess, drawback.
Well, in Redfin,
Maybe right
they
now
are
they're just
realtors,
thinking, oh,
right?
it's not enough right now. So it's
The impact is minimal.
that frog in the hot water right now.
Mhm.
It's warm. It's like nice. Like we get to offer cash offers
hot tub.
everywhere now.
It's hot tub.
Yeah.
Well,
That's funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to see that visual.
Yep. Well, and then, another one that we didn't put on here that still nothing's happened. They made the announcement about it, but of course they're acquiring other companies, but of course is one of the bigger companies in the space, Zillow, and their partnership with Open Door that was a proclaimed, hey, we're going to start having Open Door make offers on Zillow, which I think that, I mean, to me, that partnership is massive. I mean, that's the two bigger,
but that
bigger
hasn't
companies.
that hasn't happened
Hasn't
yet,
happened yet.
which is weird because Redfin got out of the game before.
Yep.
After.
Or
After.
and they had Open Door on their site like right away, and then Open Door and Zillow say we're gonna partner, but then
The announcement happened even before Redfin stepped out of the game.
or maybe Open Door is on Zillow in other markets. We've been looking at. Yeah,
I haven't
I
I've
haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you see Open Door on Zillow and you're out there in your market and you see that, let us know.
Yeah.
And drop us a line at hello@zoodealio.com. We'd love to hear that
I'd love to
intel.
know.
Yeah, and for them to be on all those largest sites that consumers go to in America, if you will, it's just a numbers game. So I think that's gonna make their recovery even faster.
And it could have been strategic, like they weren't ready to release it, but they did that because do you remember they released that information on Q2 earnings call? And so were they trying to give some good news because of all the bad news?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Bury
I'm
the
not
lead.
sure if that's good news though. I mean, Zillow goes out there. Zillow tries to catch up to Open Door. Zillow
Operation
goes out,
Ketchup. Remember that was
Yeah.
that was like their code name.
Yep, it
and
was.
then Open Door is now.
Yep.
Should we?
It's weird.
Should we make an internal operation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Will
Operation.
Zillow buy Open Door? I mean, maybe Zillow buys Open Door.
That's wild to think.
Operation Acquire.
Operation Acquired.
I think Open Door is going to get acquired sometime this year.
Oh, that's just a
Do you
crazy,
really?
crazy new thought.
I do. Yeah.
What are we
I don't
going?
know.
Are we gonna buy 'em?
CoStar? CoStar buys them.
That's what I think. Yeah.
CoStar.
CoStar.
I don't think CoStar
Ooh.
would. I think CoStar's too agent focused.
Huh.
If you look at kind of their mantra,
Their-
it's about keeping the agent. Like the CEO of CoStar's mom was a real estate agent. He grew up in a real estate family. Like he passionately believes in the real estate professional. And so he says everything that he does is so that the real estate professional can continue to be the fiduciary. So I don't know. I mean,
They're just so beaten down right now that they have a really good brand, and it's
Really good.
but under $1 right now.
Well, let's talk about all tech stock, real estate tech stocks in general, right? Because that's what I was thinking about as we go through this. I mean, you look at from Zillow to Redfin to all of them, right? I mean, rather than running through all their names, they have
They've been obliterated.
the entire market.
obliterated.
The entire market's depressed.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, so that was one of our other bullet points is OfferPad. You know, their stock, their share price has been under $1 for like 6 months, to the point of where
It's under half $1.
I know the New York Stock Exchange sent them a letter and said that they're going to get delisted unless they can get their stock up back above $1. Wasn't it by January?
They had 6 months, I think, that they were noticed in November.
Okay,
So they have 6 months from their notice
basically the
date.
end of first quarter.
Right. So, and I know Jason's been real big on, he thinks they're just going to do a reverse split and everything's going to be A-okay.
I mean, that's the play. That could be a play.
I think it has to do with the SPACs. You know, you look at how Open Door went public and how OfferPad went public. They both went public with SPACs. And anything that you're reading about SPACs right now is stay away from them.
Which is wild, right? Because I mean, even when you like look at the whole point of what a SPAC is like, you know, a parent, you know, approved company basically guiding you to take you public through the process, which is usually going to be an experienced person in a mentorship, right? In its most simplistic format. So
Or
it's
a
like
greedy person.
or that doesn't say, or is it
I
a
don't know,
greedy
it's-
person?
Well, I think
Experience.
it's the fact that they were able to take these companies public with these non-acceptable general accounting principles. They are
Got it.
non-GAAP accounting principles. So, for instance, like Open Door and OfferPad, when they report their earnings, their top line revenue includes all of the acquisitions of their homes or all
Yeah,
of the dispositions of all of their
massive.
homes. So they have this insane top line revenue, which if you look at, you know, you really look at the numbers and that price
Yep.
comes back out, you know, the profit margin on that is slim, but they're accounting for the entire price of the home.
Yep. Yeah. So just making sure that our listeners are getting what you said there, what she is, when they report, they're reporting the whole house, as she said, right? So they're treating that all as income, even though so like, for example, if they paid $500,000 for a house, sell it for $550,000, they're reporting the entire $550,000 as profit, even though they spent
it's
$500,000
revenue.
or
Not
revenue.
profit.
Top
Excuse
line
me.
revenue,
Excuse me,
yeah.
revenue.
So that's, I think that the accounting principles are kind of what are biting them in the ass right now.
Yes.
That's very valid. I haven't thought about that until you just said that right now.
So definitely, you know, we know that I think the biggest news probably for all of us in the iBuying space was probably when we learned what happened to Open Door
Yeah.
when they reported their Q3 earnings. And
Earnings. You mean losses?
What? They call it an earnings call, Jason.
2020 has been the losses call for Open Door, I guess.
It sure has.
Virtually all.
I mean, we were shocked.
A Billy.
Almost, not quite,
Yep.
but almost.
call
So
it Billy.
let's. I mean, I know that's kind of one of the pieces that we have held back on, but let's let that out of the bottle. Give it to us, Kayla.
Well, Open Door lost $980 million in Q3.
And then what happened after that, Jay?
They lost a lot of money. What do you mean? What happened? Oh, you mean talking about the Eric Wu?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Eric Wu went to president of product, and
He's no longer the CEO.
who's the CEO now?
Carrie Wheeler.
Carrie Wheeler. There you go.
So Eric Wu was replaced as the CEO after that. And then I know you, long before that, you saw that the way that they were acquiring properties had changed, right?
Give me
Not
refresh my
necessarily the
memory.
way.
What
I
do you
keep
mean by
saying
that?
the way, because the way that they're acquiring properties is not the same. The strategy in which that they were buying, like meaning, you know, their offers were changing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everyone can see that. But, when as crazy as, being in, working with all like the buy and hold investors, and you can see comps say 525 and you get a 550, all cash offer from a buy and hold. You're like, dang, this is freaking awesome. And then all of a sudden Open Door comes in and gives the consumer freaking 575.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's super crazy. And then now it's
the opposite.
I mean, I don't know what, if there's a perfect algorithm with how they're calculating, but it's definitely in the 70s or 60 cents on the dollar.
Wow. Which that's where they need to be to profit. So,
to right the ship.
Which I mean, we've been talking about that for a long time. Like, when it's gonna hit the fan one of these days,
it has to.
They're gonna have to pull profit. It's hit the fan now. They're being very, very conservative and buying lower, buying better, buying deeper, and to make that profit. And so, is it still a good product?
That's the question, the big question.
Do you guys remember, like, before it hit the fan, when they were talking about all their algorithms and the AI that was combing the internet and watching for trends and all these other things that they were doing?
And you bought it hook, line, and sinker, and I feel like all three of us were like, yeah, whatever.
I did.
Elliot was
totally
always
I was like,
their algorithms, their access to
like,
data,
dang.
their AI, their machine learning. How did that work out for them?
Not very good.
Not good.
The internet,
Eric Wu came out and
the
said
internet did predict the Great Recession. And that's a long time ago. So, I mean, that's just like, I was like, maybe.
I mean, everyone's going to there's going to be someone out there that got it right, because everyone makes predictions, right? So someone's got to get it right.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes
Doesn't
20
mean that-
years to say it, and then it happens.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
True.
Yeah.
Well, I think our overall sentiment on iBuying is that it still will remain an amazing consumer product.
Cash is king. It's
for the
always
right
king.
person. Mm-hmm. And I think that, kind of taking it from that distressed kind of connotation that it used to have years ago before it was done on the internet, when it was just like the wholesalers and
We buy ugly houses.
right. And then upgrading it to now this experience where, hey, like, if you're going to sell your house at a little bit of a discount, at least it's convenient. At least it's easy.
Yep. And that certainty, right? I feel like I'm hearing that word now more than ever. Certainty, right? Today's consumer is looking for a certain experience, right? Like a you decide type environment. And again,
I think probably because it's so uncertain.
Agreed.
Right now, when it was certain, people didn't care about the certainty. Like, yeah, it's whatever. I'll throw it on the market. It'll sell in an hour. There was certainty. When there's uncertainty, people want more certainty.
It's so funny looking back with some of the properties that is a terrible product, and still selling for $50,000 above list. I mean, straight up like flip properties that weren't flipped. We're going.
Yeah.
It's just wild to think about that.
Yeah, they're paying over market value for them.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a couple clients that you said, take that money and run.
Oh,
Like,
I still couldn't believe it. I
Like,
did. I was like,
they are
I
gonna
lost
lose
the
money on
listing,
this
but
house.
I was like, I can't tell you. I was like, dude, I don't understand how this is possible. Take it.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Take it and
He
run.
made out.
he made out.
He called me. He called me a couple months ago, and he's like, dude, I'm so glad I took that offer.
Open Door sold it for $100,000
He
less.
sold his house here and bought a couple of acres in Tennessee.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
But then he wanted to move because he said they got like almost hit by a tornado. And he's like,
Oh,
I don't know if I want to
dang.
live in this environment now. But anyway,
Arizona's
come
even
back and
better.
buy it from Open
kind of
Door
a funny
again.
story.
Yeah.
It's a
Yep.
funny story.
Hey, well, as we wind down, what's being that this is 2023, it's new year, new you for all you agents, lenders, everybody out there. What's something that we can share that helps them hit the ground running in 2023? And I honestly take this everything we just talked about, to me, is an ample opportunity, right? Consumer psyche and mind share, and taking a peek into their minds is a real opportunity for you to align yourself with that behavior and be the source of what that consumer is looking for. So what are some things that we could share with the listeners out there of how they can align and ultimately do that 1 extra deal, 2 extra deals, 5 extra deals, right? Like that's go out there and get your unfair share.
I mean, obviously, cash is king. You got to have some cash products for your clientele. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars priming the consumer about cash offers and being able to buy with cash, this, that, and cash this, cash that. And so you got to have those products because it's going to help you in the future.
And I'll be in this mindset probably till I get out of the industry. So whenever that is in the future, is prospect. That's just a word. How you go and generate business is up to you. But if you're not out there prospecting more than ever, then you're probably not going to see as many opportunities in the marketplace. So go out there and have those real estate conversations and have those value propositions that Jay brought up. And that's where
prospecting.
That's where you'll see the increase in your business.
I love that one.
I agree. And I also think that if you are a dabbler, if you dabbled in real estate and you weren't committed, if you weren't full send, now's the time for you just to get out. Because if you have a plan B, then this business isn't for you. It is going to take dedication and commitment to really leave your mark, especially in 2023.
Hell yeah. Yeah, mine, I'm going to echo probably a lot of what you guys just said. I would say, have a plan, work the plan. If you plan to fail, or if you fail to have a plan, you plan to fail, right? So now it's bigger than ever for you to communicate your value proposition, the unique products, at scale, and being able to solve problems in your particular marketplace, right? And then not only that, don't be so broad with your message. Double down on that niche, focus on your direct market and solve their problems, and you will get those extra deals.
Hey, just as we wrap up, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for listening over the past couple of years or maybe months or however long you've been tuning in. We certainly appreciate it. We would love to hear from you. Drop us a line, hello@zoodealio.com, and we got a free t-shirt for you. So if you drop us a quick line, we'll hook you up with a Zoodealio t-shirt. You're going to love it. And we appreciate you and your support.
Bye.
See ya.